Hello and welcome to a book review. Now this is a book review of the third and final book in the Echoes of Elarien Trilogy by Benjamin Averin, that being Elder Fox. Because the first book was Venomborn, up on here, and I hope it doesn't fall on me, and the second book being Dream Hiker. Now you will notice that these covers are not the same. I was going to buy the first book of this to go with this cover, but then I decided that that looks like an arc and I'm gonna keep it. I did read both of them as arcs. In fact, I've nearly read all of his books as arcs. Fucking knew it. And this is going to be the 7th arc I've read of his. So if you want to view, I will put the videos link down below. And this may contain spoilers for this one and this one. So if you aim to read this series, come back to this video afterwards. There's probably going to be spoilers for these. There's not going to be spoilers for this one because it's an ARC review. ARC reviews are advanced reader copies and you get them before they're published. So this book is published on the 7th of July. Currently, I think it's around the 26th that I'm doing this. We're in the middle of a heat wave. And today is the first cool and windy day we've had in over a week. I don't like the heat. Let's get up with the blurb. The Redback Wyverns must be freed. The dragon-bound empire must be stopped. And a traitor must be brought to justice. In Shana City, Kite plots to frustrate the empire from within. While back in Hartham, Effie moves to take her knighthood and prepare Firth for the coming invasion. Because ready or not, the Knies Armada will soon sail for Ortland. And even 2 Venomborn will struggle to stand against the Empire's full might. Magic will be sought, tolerances will be broken, and Anma flames will bathe the meadows of Ortland. This is their final chance at salvation. Herein, spoilers for book 1 and 2. Here we go. So we are back. So the main thing I like about this series in particular is that you close one book and it starts exactly in the same place at the beginning of the next. So once the second one is read, this one starts off straight after. So you can read them all together. And we get 2 POVs, so 2 main characters, one which is Effie and one which is Kite. And in this one, we open first with Effie. She is back in Hartham. And to say things are fraught would be a little bit of an understatement because she is back at home and she doesn't have the best relationship with her family. Her mother especially, because the only way to become Venomborn is that the mother, while pregnant, becomes addicted to this Reaper's wine, drinks it, but it really is a very, very powerful addictive substance and it kills most of the babies it interacts with. Those few that survive it are born Venomborn. They are born with powers and they can manipulate Anma, which is like the magic. I'm probably not explaining that particularly well, but to me it's magic. And her mother, that relationship is still fraught because even when her mother birthed her, sometimes the mother dies in childbirth, which is what happened with Kite at the beginning of that one, which is harrowing to read. It's very graphic. Effie's mother survived, but she hasn't stopped drinking Reaper's wine, so she is not the person. Effie doesn't see her as a mother because she's never been motherly. In fact, she's been a bit of a bitch to her through her whole life, more than a bit. But Effie is back at home to gear Ortland up for the invasion of the Empire, which we know is coming given the events of the ending of the second book. We know they're coming, they just don't know when, but they are coming. And they will take over Ortland if Effie and Kite can't stop them. To get away from her fraught family life, Effie continues to escape into the dreamscape, which was her power. She can go into people's dreams and dreamwalk, so she can see the world while everyone's asleep. And she keeps scanning the horizon to see these ships coming, which is what happened in this one, which is how the new something was up in the first place. On one of these nights, she spots a lone Knies ship, all on its own, no other backup around it. It is just limping itself into Nookport, which is where they live. And you'll know this ship because of the ending of this one. It goes right into it. So We know what that ship is and we know who's on it. I can't wait for everything just to kick off because... And we know who's not on it. Which, speaking of Kite, he is still back in the Dragon Empire. He is free. He is determined to take the Empire down from the inside. And he is living with Narya, who we met in the second book. And there's kind of a romance between them, but it didn't seem... It is believable, but it didn't seem to be of the long-lasting variety. But that does change sort of through the book. These books are not romance. They're not romantasy. They are pure fantasy. Romance is kind of an added extra if that's the way the characters go, but as a rule, romance really doesn't come into these, which is probably why I like them so much. But Narya gets imprisoned trying to steal Kite some of the second grade venom. So you have to build up a tolerance for the grade of venom that you're at before you try the higher levels to try and build your strength, which is what Kite's determined to do and what Effie's trying to do, but she's trying to do a more scientific way to get there by choosing what venom she partakes in. Kite drinks whatever comes in front of him and then ends up suffering the consequences, and that is why he is a bit more powerful than Effie. But he goes to rescue her and he feels this... He's had kind of this voice in his head. It was at the end of the second book. The voice is louder the more he gets to this Empire capital. And it gets louder and he can feel this anima pull at every fibre of him towards whatever is making this voice in his head. And Kite follows this voice and he sees the most gigantic red fox wyvern, which is on the cover of this book. It is old, it is massive, and it is chained. It can't even move around like the courtyard. It is chained to the floor, and its energy is being siphoned, and it is chained so that the Empire can keep all the other little fox wyverns under control. And Kite wants to put it out of its misery because he keeps hearing its voice in his head. It keeps asking him to kill it, put it out of its misery. It's been chained for decades, but Kite is reluctant. He knows he wants to put it out of its misery because, I mean, the poor creature, but it is a monster. And if he sets it free, will it wreak its vengeance, regardless of the cost, over everything, considering the Empire has misused it for decades? And not only that, will the other little red wyverns... Well, little, I said, they're absolutely massive, but this is gargantuan. Will they take vengeance on its behalf if he kills it? So he's kind of in a lose-lose situation. You don't really know which way he's going to swing with that. And that happens right near the beginning. So you have the whole book left. So I won't say whether he does or not, but it definitely doesn't go the way I thought it was gonna go. I was so hyped to read this book, having read this one, and this one, and this one was 5 stars, and this one was 5 stars, and this one was 5 stars. I was so hyped for it. I think I read it either over 2 days or I read it all in one day, depending on whether I read it on a weekend. I loved it. I could barely bear to put it down. It hits the ground running and it is incredibly fast paced, which is what I like, especially with these. I like, the action to keep going. The characters, yes, need downtime, but there's a war coming, so you're not going to get much. And this is the last book in the trilogy, so all the lore and the history put together in this one, all the dominoes lined up in this one, are just waiting, ready for that knockdown in this one. And my good grief, are these knocked down hard, because we know the world, we know the characters, we know the lore, we know the magic system, we know everyone's motivations. What is left is a pure fantasy adventure that I loved. I really enjoyed both Effie's and Kite's journeys. They are different and they do come together and intertwine, but they are very different characters, and they're not written like they're the same on the same parallel. They're on a parallel path, but they do deviate from time to time. and it's not like you're reading carbon copies of each other. They do really feel like their own characters. Effie is determined to run towards her destiny of saving Firth County. She has to come to terms with letting other people help. You know, if you want a job done right, you got to do it yourself. That's kind of her mentality. No, they can't do it as well as she could. She finds it really, really hard to let go, but they're at war and she can't be in lots of different places at different times. And she has to learn to trust people, trust that those people will have her back when she needs it. So that is really, really hard for her. And Kate is also determined to do the right thing all the time, except they're at war. There is bound to be collateral damage. There already was in this one and this one. And I really like Kate's journey in particular, starting from this one where he's trying to prove himself to himself as well as all of those around us, all the way through to this one where he finally believes in himself, everything that unlocks once he does. Because he believes, and is kind of right, if he fails, then Firth County is lost. Because he, of the two Venomborn, him and Effie, he is the more powerful. He is a tier above. And I loved the Foxwyverns. The way they're described and the way like this one is on the cover, they're so cute. I'm like that meme, like, kitty! I just want to be like, oh, who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? He's so cute. It'd probably devour me in one snap of its jaws, but it'd be so fluffy to stroke behind its ears. And it's so cute and so fluffy and so powerful and sassy because Kate can hear their voices in his head, given the end of that one. I loved this book. I loved this trilogy. It is another 5-star trilogy, which, whether people are going to believe my, well, let's face it, you all watch my rant review videos and you'll know that although I don't give out 5 stars, a lot of the time I do give out a fair few, and 6 of them have gone to this author. So for this trilogy and the trilogy before, which is this one, because I had all these of arcs and because they're 5 stars, I have to get them as a book trophy. So I will be buying this one when it comes out on July 7th. So this review is going to go up a couple of days before, or it might go up before the end of June, as July is going to be a horror month. But it's going to be around that time. So it's going to hype up everybody, wanting to read. Because if I had to recommend this to anyone, I would recommend this series. It is pure fantasy. It is high stakes. It has a wonderful magic system that isn't too easy and isn't too complicated. And the 2 main characters are not like those characters that are prophesized and everything comes easy. They nearly die on multiple occasions and it is incredibly hard. Their real life, their interactions with other characters are very normal. Some people they like on sight, some people they hate on sight, and you kind of judge a book by its cover and then come to find that they're not all that either. But yeah, I really, really like it. I love the character progression. I love the plots. I love the ending of this, which I can't talk about in this video because it's an arc review and that would be spoilers. So take my word for it. Start this series and go all the way through to the end, because this is pure fantasy perfection. I love it. And I think you will as well. So if you have started this series, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you haven't started this series and you're about to, what did you watch this video for? I think I might have spoiled some of these for you, but let me know. And until next time,